Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today's video I'll be reviewing this. This is Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom Ultra Magnus. And here he is in package. Very cool looking box art of him in vehicle mode and robot mode. It's the side of the box, and on the back of the box you can see he transforms in 12 steps for the main cab and 16 steps to the full trailer. Now he is a retool of Siege Ultra Magnus, and I think most of the retooling is done in the cab section. Okay, let's get Ultra Magnus out of the box. Here is Kingdom Ultra Magnus out of the package. He comes with his instruction sheet, and it is a very large instruction sheet because there is a lot to cover. A golden disc card, and the one that came with him is Dinobot. I already have this one. Let's peel it, and you can see his destiny. If you know the Cybertronian for this, let me know in the comments below. He comes with 2 rocket launchers, and these are a different design than what he got with Siege. Let me pull out one of the Siege rocket launchers. So you can see the rocket launcher on the left here is what came with Siege Ultra Magnus, and the Kingdom rocket launcher does have a different design. He comes with his gun. So on the left here I have Siege Ultra Magnus's gun. As you can see, it's a much brighter silver than the one that comes with the Kingdom version of Ultra Magnus, but it's basically the same mold. And Ultra Magnus himself put his rocket launcher on his arms and his gun in his hand. Now, one thing special about Ultra Magnus is that the Siege version of this character was one of the first figures I reviewed way back in the end of December of 2018 when I first started my channel. And sure does bring back memories, as this was one of the first figures I bought in the War for Cybertron series line. I believe I found Shockwave and Ultra Magnus at the same time, and I bought them both. From that day forward, I decided I wanted to be a completionist for this line, and to this day I still am a completionist. Now, the main differences between the Siege and the Kingdom Ultra Magnus kind of seem like it's basically on the surface detail, but I think as I compare them both later on, I'll probably find a lot more differences, at least in the big robot mode. Like I said earlier, I think most of the differences are in the cab. So here on the left I have Siege Ultra Magnus, and on the right I have Kingdom Ultra Magnus. Now, the reason why Siege is a lot taller, I did put the DNA Designs upgrade kit for the legs just to give him a little bit more height, and that's why you see Siege Ultra Magnus towering over Kingdom Ultra Magnus. But let's take a closer look at the differences here. Starting at the legs, of course you have that space gunk, and you can see how the blue paint is not applied on the outer part of the lower legs like on Siege Ultra Magnus. Now, one thing that you see on Siege Ultra Magnus are these black guns. You do not get them with Kingdom Ultra Magnus. Looking at them closely, the Siege Ultra Magnus is more of an off-white, while Kingdom is a bright white. I'm not sure if you'll be able to make it out on camera, but the blue does seem to be a different shade for Kingdom and Siege. I think the Siege version is a little bit lighter. Looking at the head sculpt of both of them, you can see Siege Ultra Magnus has more of an eyes, while Kingdom Ultra Magnus has more of a goggles, and it makes it really cool because he does have light piping. Okay, hopefully this shows through. You can see the light piping. Well, that seems to be the major differences between these two in robot mode. I do know they have some pre-orders up for an upgrade kit for Kingdom Magnus, and I may get them just to give him a little bit more height. Moving on to articulation of the figure, the head is actually on a ball joint and can rotate 360. The arm can rotate 360 as well. He can raise up the shoulder this high. He can rotate at the bicep. He can bend at the elbow this much. He can rotate at the wrist 360. He can rotate at the waist 360. He can do the splits. He can kick this far up, this far back, mainly to this blocking his leg. He does have some thigh rotation. He can bend at the knee this much, and he does have ankle tilt. And for some size comparisons, here is Kingdom Ultra Magnus next to Earthrise Optimus Prime, Studio Series 86 Hot Rod, and Siege Sideswipe. And here he is next to the Netflix series Ultra Magnus. Okay, let's get Ultra Magnus transformed into his smaller robot form. Here's Kingdom Ultra Magnus in his robot mode. Let's take a closer look at him here. Pretty much the same head sculpt. Over here I have the Siege Ultra Magnus, and you can definitely see the color difference. Much brighter white with the Kingdom version. Now I don't know if there's much differences between the legs, because these legs are replacement legs from DNA Designs to give Ultra Magnus a much taller look in Super Robot mode. But pretty much the surface detail for the arms look exactly the same. So it looks like the main thing they changed was this part of the cab and the front here. He actually doesn't look too bad in this form, opposed to this one. With Kingdom, it seems like he has a little gut. Articulation is going to be pretty much the same in this mode, because articulation on the large robot mode is really based on the small robot. Hey, let's transform the small robot into his cab mode. Here is Ultra Magnus in his small cab mode, and just like the Siege Ultra Magnus, it's not that great. I mean, just from the side profile here, you have that gap, the arms showing, but yeah, as far as the cab mode, it's not really that great. It would have been nice if there was some silver paint application here, just to break up all the white, or even if the bumper was painted silver. That would have been nice. I may go back and do that. But yeah, not the greatest cab section mode. Hopefully the combined car carrier mode looks a lot better. So let's get Ultra Magnus combined into the full car carrier mode. Here is Kingdom Ultra Magnus in his car carrier mode. Let's take a closer look at him here. And yeah, not the greatest of car carriers out there. I mean, just looking at him from the side, it seems really forced, especially with the arms sticking out here. They did a little bit better of a job hiding this gap. So if we take a look at Siege Ultra Magnus, you can see the gap by the front tire is a lot bigger, but here on Kingdom they added this little part here to cover it. Maybe they should have added a panel here that flips over to cover this gap completely. I think that would have been nice, but nothing too much they could have done about these arms sticking out. Now he does come up a little more forward in his smaller cab than Siege Ultra Magnus. If you take a look at them side by side, up and down here, you can see he is a bit more forward, because the way he transforms here on the bottom is a little bit different than here. With Siege Ultra Magnus, this pegs in all the way to this part, but with Kingdom it just attaches to the small cab here, doesn't reach all the way back. And you can see some of the differences on the side, as Kingdom Ultra Magnus is more closed up than Siege. One thing I did notice here, you can see this little shape here. It looks perfect for an Autobot sticker. I might put one there. Maybe they were planning to stamp one on him, but for whatever reason just didn't do it. Now he is supposed to be a car carrier, but just like the Siege version, you really can't carry cars inside of him. I guess you can just put one car. Here's Siege Sideswipe on top of him, but that is pretty much it. You have this nice translucent plastic here. I wish they just made it wrapped all the way around to the side, so this part could be translucent as well. I don't know, for me the alt mode is definitely the weakest part for Kingdom Ultra Magnus. Part of me hopes down the line Studio Series 86 makes a proper G1 version of Ultra Magnus. And for some size comparisons in vehicle mode, here's Kingdom Ultra Magnus next to Siege Sideswipe and Earthrise Optimus Prime. Okay, let's get Kingdom Ultra Magnus back to robot mode for my final thoughts. So my final thoughts on Kingdom Ultra Magnus. Honestly, a little bit disappointed. Now, the Super Robot mode looks the part, looks great. I like the light piping, the details on it as well. But after that, it kind of falls apart for me, especially with the smaller robot cab. I wish they used the Earthrise Optimus Prime as the base for Kingdom Ultra Magnus and then just built a trailer around it to combine with him to form Ultra Magnus's larger robot. But unfortunately, it is just a retool of Siege Ultra Magnus. Really makes me hope that there will be a Studio Series 86 Ultra Magnus down the line. Anyway, that is it for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. Follow us on social media and check out our Discord. Links in the description below.